Yo, it is live time. So if you're watching this replay and you want to skip ahead to the good part, just skip in about 2 minutes and we'll get started here because it's my Tuesday night Strongman Talks. And I usually give it about 2 minutes to let some people pop in, catch up. And I'm eating my beef liver right now. I got a little bit more to go. Good stuff. You know, I love animal organs, man. You know, really because of what they do for me, right? So I'm just going to look some stuff up. I'll read it to you off the top, here. But beef liver. What does beef liver do for you? It's very simple. You want to just get these foods that are as high nutrient density as possible. So, if you're following me on Instagram, I kind of just went on a stream of consciousness about, it's not simple enough to just hit your macros, right? So there's always foundational approaches to things. You need to be able to just hit your protein first off. If you have no idea how to track your food, you want to master eating, then you need to figure out how to just track your food in general. You gotta get a food scale. You have to understand what your macronutrients are, what carbs and fats and proteins are. Then you gotta figure out, how to time your foods so you have ideal fuel and nutrition for your workout. But then, that's not good enough. It's if you want to be able to be a world-class strongman, then you have to eat to really fuel your body to be a high-performance machine. So just talking about things like beef liver, people are like, ooh, oh my God, gross, I can't believe you eat liver. Well, if you knew what it did for you, then you might think differently. So here we go. Vitamin A, essential for vision, immune health, cellular repair, right? B vitamins, give red blood cell production, nerve conduction, energy metabolism. It just means that you're going to be able to shift all the things that are in your body that produce energy chemicals into the right places to put out at the right time. So I just keep coming. I'm not going to be eating and talking to you all the time. But what keeps happening, I'll be very honest, right? So I'm ramping up my online business. I am taking on new clients. And that's not what this call is about. It's not a sales call to you. But I have these conversations with people because I do want to help people. I have this free community, clubstrongman.com, where I'm giving away all of the answers. There are no secrets. I'm giving away every single fucking piece of information that you could want to have in order to succeed. How do I know that this is useful? It's because it's everything that I have done to go from a local bum where I was getting 6th, 7th place at bum local competitions. They're not bum competitions. I was just, not anywhere ready to succeed at the highest level, to go from there to a World's Strongest Man finalist. So I had to work on my athleticism, my mobility, my conditioning. I had to get my recovery down. I had to cut out all the bullshit I was doing. There have been so many long periods of my life where I have had to smoke, where I had to is the wrong term, but I smoked weed every single day. I'm talking for years at a time. If I were to add up the number of days, it is years of my life that I have spent high and intoxicated. And that's not even getting to all the times that I've gone super blackout drunk, this and that. But anyways, the point is that I had to overcome a lot of my vices because I was just wasting my energy that should have been going into strongman, right? And recovery. People say oh, well, I use a gummy to help me go to sleep. Well, that sedates you, but it doesn't actually help you get those deep stages of REM sleep. So what I'm getting at here is that we have all of the tools ready for disposal, right? If you go on Instagram, there has never been more information available to you that will tell you exactly how to succeed. So why aren't there more people chasing their goals? Why are there so many people that are kind of stuck doing the same thing all the time? So the quote that I keep hearing over and over and over is that we do not have an education problem, we have an application problem. So what we got to do really is just kind of start showing up over and over and over and often in ways that we don't want. All right. So it's like not super easy for me to just slog down this raw beef liver. That's my last piece. So I'm done eating on this live. I know that grosses the hell out of some people. I know I'm supposed to eat my vegetables. I know I'm supposed to do that. And like, it is just very binary. You know, I think a lot of people try to attach emotion to these processes and these outcomes, or they get stuck in their habits and their disciplines, or lack of discipline, rather, and they don't actually show up. So if you're watching this and you're interested in improving your strength, what do you really want? You want to feel good about yourself. You want to improve how you feel, how you perform, how you look, you know, probably by, you know, sidestep, like how you think, how you relate to others. You want to be involved in a tribe. You want to have importance in your community and in your social circles. Like if you want to be in the strongman community, you know, whether consciously or subconsciously, you're just going to get more respect if you perform better. Now, that's not everybody's like clear conscious goal, but deep down, you know, you will be more accepted if you're putting in the work. So where do we get stuck here? We get stuck in, number one is really motion and emotion, right? So we always want to use emotion and motion together because emotions are energy in motion, right? So what we got to do and think about is like, man, what you got to think about is start creating like conscious awareness to how you feel throughout the day, especially at times when you know you should be doing certain things. Let's take a very easy one, for example. You know that you need to get active recovery in. Can be as simple as taking your steps, going for a walk. But why don't you? You know, this is where it gets tough because we have to sit internally with ourselves and with our whole selves and problems and faults and shortcomings. We have to go face to face with them and start understanding like, you know what? I feel like crap. Why do I feel like crap? Maybe it's because you're doing some activity that's no good for you. Maybe it's because you're just sitting on the couch watching Netflix and that's really comfortable and it's taking you away from how you're actually supposed to feel, you know? But then we got to frame that with like, what do we really want? Like what we want is a feeling at the end of the day. If you're somebody in business who wanted to make $1 million, like it's not really about that end target dollar sign. It's about what you get from it. It's the validation. It's the security with your family. So you have to start tapping in to the place where you feel those positive emotions, or you got to figure out how to change your state so that you're not stagnant. You don't have this just wasted energy building up in you. Right? You know, so circling back to all the things you know you need to do. Talk about this a lot. You have to recover. You have to lift. You have to eat. You have to sleep. You have to stretch and mobilize. So what are you not doing? You know, and then start thinking about like, why are you not doing that? Are you scared? Do you think you're not good enough? I don't know. I can't really answer that for you individually, but I will give you some of my own personal explanations. One, I was copping out saying, damn, it's too hot. You know, we just kind of got through the thickest part of summer and I didn't want to go get my steps because like I just felt exhausted, right? But we got to think about the concepts of like the more we move, the more energy we have. You know, everything is a flow and balance in nature. So actually, you know this, right? It's like when you don't want to go to the gym and you don't want to go to your workout, like the hardest part is just showing up. So those were the things I had to like start telling myself and think like, just get started. It's easier to do 20 minutes than it is to do, you know, 2 seconds sometimes because momentum is a hell of a drug, right? It's always about relating this to your importance. So you've got to, you know, show up over and over and over and over again. And most people tune out. I mean, I'm looking at this. I don't have a single person looking at me right now. I don't have a single person watching live, and that's fine. But, now I'm just going to be totally honest. Like, it stinks. I wish I had more people tuning into these lives. I wish I had more clients. I will. I'm going to get them. But I'm not going to do it by just, like, continuing to show up here over and over and over and not changing anything. Clearly, I'm going to have to do something different. With clubstrongman.com, I want to grow this to be one of the best, if not the best resource on the entire planet for strongman education. I have the ability to do that. I know because I have put in the work for years and years and years to not only be a great athlete, but to learn how to move and train people as a coach. Sean Byrne, gang, you keep showing up. But again, it's all about like showing up, being honest and assessing, understanding what's going on and what, you're not getting done, and then just like taking a different approach. This is like what happens all the time in strongman over and over and over again. I've been teasing somebody online that said, brother, you got to learn how to use your legs on your presses. And he's like, oh, I know. People have told me that. Very cool, bro. Very cool. So what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to keep like not listening and like pretending like you get it and pretending that, understanding and not applying this is going to like actually get you anywhere when you've had zero progress or results over the last 3 years? Because here's the thing. It's like comfort is a hell of a drug, and comfort comes in different ways, right? Comfort is not just like laying on the couch and being lazy. Comfort is also your current state. And this is something that was really dangerous for me when I was just growing up, maturing as an adult. I was a powerlifter in a commercial gym when I was a trainer in this setting. So like I was the strongest one around, and that really like made me feel pretty good about myself. But, the thing that really did it for me was starting to get out to competitions and see people wipe the floor with me. And I started to see the bigger picture of like, hey, dude, you're clearly not that good because here are the results. So stop thinking that you like have the answers, because you don't, clearly. And now it's been lesson after lesson after lesson. It's trial and error and, all sorts of ups and downs. But I'm not going to quit because like I really care about this. And this is now coming back to the thing where we have to start eliminate all of our vices and our shortcomings and the things that like fog our brain, whether that's booze or drugs or smoking weed or fucking anything, bro, doom scrolling, anything you could be doing on your phone that's just wasting time and time and time and time. It's pulling you and separating you from however you want to call this, the voice of God, your conscious, your soul, right? You know things that are your truth no matter what, right? Like that there are certain things that are in your soul that you are drawn to, that you believe, that you cannot explain where that comes from. But you will go down fighting for it till death because you feel it to the deepest parts of you that this is real. And the more we stray and slowly get pulled away by, again, all of these vices, and this isn't necessarily even vices, it's lack of discipline. It's not sleeping with high quality. It's like watching TV up until the second you go to bed, or not doing novel things in our lives, like not getting like good reading, good education, and good mental stimulation. Like those are things you should be doing. Like it pulls you away from your purpose, so you just really got to do a lot of work, right? Self-work is your self-worth, and if you're not doing things to actually improve your everyday state, you are going to one day wake up months, years, or hopefully not longer down the line and realize, like, what have I been doing this entire time? So, it always comes down to, application, not education. We got to be our best. We have to instill a mindset of, one, self-belief, right? Like if you have made any gains, if you're watching me right now, the chances are that you have set many PRs in some way, shape, or form. So let's use that as the root and base of self-belief and turn that into like, well, what else can I do? What else could happen for me and to me? And then we got to set our sights nice and high, dude. So I'm going to give you, if you were not here for this last week or seeing it on my Instagram, the Strong Goals acronym. Let's bring it back, baby. So 1, your goals need to be specific, time-bound, realistic, objective, non-negotiable, and grand. Okay? So if you're like freaking lost and you don't know like what to even start chasing, come this way. Then let's start, using this framework, and let's think about putting all of these things together. Because sometimes people like just wander through no man's land and they don't even know like what they should be aiming or shooting for. But when you start to think about what it is you really want, because it's important to have a clear target, we need to be specific. We know exactly what it is to like an incredibly strong detail, right? Like I keep using this example. I want to deadlift 800 pounds. That is a specific lift. That is a number, totally tangible, right? Instead of I want to get stronger. Do you understand how those two things are totally different? It's like saying I want to be 10% body fat versus I want to be lean, right? We have a hard, definite, clear objective from there, but we also have to make it time-bound. So we have to put it in a timeline to ensure that it is reachable and obtainable, right? So that puts the pressure on and it forces us to act. I want to deadlift 800 by next year, okay? Is that, realistic though is the thing? That's what we got to like kind of choose next is anything is realistic. That's the thing. I'm not telling you don't be crazy with your goals because you can be. You just have to be realistic about what it's going to take to get there, right? Because if you're at 405 right now and you want to deadlift 800, you probably could, but it's going to take weight gain. It's going to take a lot of years in time. It's going to take a lot of training cycles. But if you're at 405 now and you say, I want to deadlift 800 by next year, you're not being realistic, right? And then you're just going to end up in disappointment and doom and gloom, and then you'll fucking give up and quit like everybody else. So when you're going on your path, though, let's say you're being unrealistic, or even if you are just being realistic with where you're starting from and where you need to go, you have to be objective about whether or not your path is actually taking you there. There's got to be a series of pit stops along the way. Like if you want to deadlift 800, if you're at 405 now, obviously at some point you have to hit 450 and then 500 and then 545, right? So you have to keep climbing and climbing and climbing. Is something, are you on the way? Awesome, keep going. Are you not? Then what's going on, right? Are you eating correctly? Are you sleeping correctly? Are you hydrating correctly? Are you just like playing games with, your lifestyle, right? Like you going out, getting tanked 2-3 nights a week, not getting it done. So just be objective about the changes you need to make on this. And then when you have these action steps, you have to be non-negotiable that this goal is going to be done no matter what. You also have to have non-negotiables in your everyday life that will make it happen, dude. If you are sleeping 3 hours a night, like not going to cut it. You need to be long-term averaging 7 to 9 hours of sleep if you really want to get this goal done as fast as possible. Or if you can only sleep 5 to 6 hours a night, then you just need to come back to R and be realistic that this is now going to take so much more time, right? So always play with these non-negotiables. Non-negotiables. I have to hit my protein every single day. I have to drink my water every single day, right? And then finally, we need this to be something really grand and spectacular. It's got to be something that is like so big that it excites us to train and take action and take inspired action is what I should say. But excites us to show up even when it's hard. Now, this grand is sort of like the pinnacle, like the top of the mountain, right? But if it's, again, we're relating this to this 800-pound deadlift, this is kind of the grand goal. And it allows us to create a series of short-term goals with that along the way. So, right, if I want to deadlift 800, it's going to be pretty dang sweet to deadlift 725, which is 7 plates and a quarter, right? Be pretty sweet to deadlift 675, which is 7 plates. It'll be pretty sweet to deadlift 635, which is 6 and a quarter, right? So we just got to think about that. Like, that should get you excited because you've got these checkpoints that you have to be objective about that you're reaching, hopefully in a timely fashion, that puts you, going there. So, I think a lot of people it just blows my mind. I mean, it's an area and subject that I cannot, I'm obsessed with. It's like, why are people not succeeding? And I do honestly believe that we all have the answers, but we're all just applying them differently. And why do I think that? One of the biggest reasons is that if you read into philosophy and mystics and even like religions, these things are told over and over again. Even Confucius, thousands of years ago, said we are all the same, just different habits. That's all there is to it. We are all the same, just different habits. And that's how I really truly view myself. And that's why, I am so passionate about trying to get this info and education out to people and be a coach and work with people directly, is because, like, you can get it done. If you told me, a long time ago, there would have been many parts along the way where I would not have believed that I have done some of the things I've done. World's Strongest Man finalist, American deadlift record holder, ran the only strongman competition that's ever been on an NFL field. Like, come on, dude. Fucking awesome. But who am I? I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude that showed up. It took me running almost 30 competitions to do one that big. It took me 15 years of competing to get to this. It took me tens of thousands of deadlifts to get there. But they weren't all perfect. They were all, there's a lot of times when I was totally misguided and veered off the path and not showing up in the ways that I should have. So for me, it took getting a really good team around me. It took getting guidance. It took me following a serious program with a serious coach to push me in that direction. And now, not everybody needs that. That is why ClubStrongman.com exists. However, most people do need that little push. Most people do need that program and accountability and this and that, But you can't completely rely on them. You have to, at some point, take ownership, because I could write somebody the perfect plan. I can give them the best workout of all time, but if they go home and they're stressed and they sleep like shit and they wake up by their own choice on the wrong side of the bed and start their day totally wrong, then it's all for nothing. So you have to take some extreme ownership, as our man Jocko would say, and just show up and apply yourself, because it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. Like, there's a lot of really smart people out there that show up like an asshole. You can probably think of a handful right now, right? And there's also a lot of really dumb people that show up as a champion. I can name you some people, no offense, just factual, some very low IQ people that are world-class champions, unbelievable, get the job done every time. I would count on them all day long to put in a banger performance. So that's it. That's all I got for you. You got to show up and apply yourself, because we're all the same, just different habits. So if you want to book a free strategy call, you can hit that in the link below. And if that's not for you, I hope it is, join ClubStrongman.com, link in the description down below. So remember, if you are not getting where you want to be, you have nobody to blame but yourself. And just be honest and assess what is really going on. If you need help, I am here to help. Hit that strategy call session down below. Maybe we'll work together, maybe not, but we'll get you sorted and moving in the right direction. So have a good night. Stay strong. Go eat your foods, eat your micros, eat your beef liver. drink your water, get your steps, get it done, get a good night's sleep. Hasta la vista.